If you're looking for an Obi Wan Kenobi Episode 3 lightsaber, well, I have a beautiful one here for you to take a look at, and we'll take a look at the differences between the Episode 3 and the TV show version. Let's get at it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Collector's Outpost. I am John. So you're on the hunt for an Obi Wan Kenobi Episode 3, and you're wondering which one to get and what's the difference between the Episode 3 and the TV show version. Well, the folks from CCSABERS sent me over the 89sabers Obi Wan Kenobi Episode 3 version, and I've already reviewed the TV show version, so I'll give you a quick side-by-side comparison just to see a couple of the little differences between the Episode 3 and the TV show version. But a big thank you to CCSABERS for sending this on over for everybody to check out. I'll put a direct link down below and a discount code if you want to check this out and everything else over at CCSABERS. CCSABERS has a fantastic selection of 89sabers. They're located over in Washington, which means good customer service. If you need repairs and stuff like that, they'll be here in the States. They have loads of lightsabers to check out, so definitely go check out that link down below. And before we dig on into this, I want to thank you all for dropping by for another lightsaber review. Please drop on down, hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so that you're notified every time I drop a new video. And to my YouTube channel members, thank you all so much for your extra support. All right, let's dig on into Episode 3 Kenobi. Now, this is probably one of those lightsabers, the overall Kenobi from Episode 3 to Episode 4. These are probably more of my favorite designs. You know that Episode 1 and 2 are very, very different lightsabers, but 3 is a lot more based on what it looked like in Episode 4, A New Hope. It's just kind of changed up a little bit, like the necks are different, and the whole thing, I think, overall is a bit thinner. You know, it's just a bit more streamlined, and then it changed a little bit between this and the TV show, and then from the TV show to Episode 4, I think there was like another 9-year window in there that he made more modifications, or supposedly made more modifications, and then we had finally the Episode 4 version. So let's dig on in here. You'll get a USB battery charger, get some nice CCSABERS white fancy gloves. You'll get your Allen keys and tools, and let's see, you'll also get a manual. This is a Profi 3.9, so if you never ran a Profi board before, 89sabers pretty much only comes in Profi that I've ever seen. So you'll have a full manual here that you can go through. It's 2 pages. Now, this is also really cool. CCSABERS sent along a necklace to go along with this. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. This is the Episode 4 version of Kenobi, but it's a really cool necklace that you can pop on. 89sabers comes with some of my favorite stands. It's like a museum style stand. I absolutely love these things. I have all my 89sabers on these in the other room. And on the front there, it says 89sabers Obi Wan Kenobi Lightsaber Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Now, it does come with this replacement pommel, but I also want to point out that it also has a really nice screen-accurate blade plug in there. You can see that right on in there, so let's take that out. Now, given the fact that this is a thin neck lightsaber, a blade's only going to sit in about 1 inch or so. So I never really recommend some heavy dueling with thin necks. You know, it'll take some light dueling, some, you know, bopping around, whatever. But I would never really recommend any hard dueling with thin necks. You don't want the threading or anything, you know, around these areas to snap or the blade to break out, because you can see in there, there's really not much space for a blade to go in due to the design of the neck. So, I mean, let me just show you how far in we go there. So that's it. That's all you get as far as blade depth. But that is always the problem with the thin necks. You know, I always say, you know, yeah, you could bop them around a little bit, do some spinning and whatever, but I definitely would never recommend any sort of heavy dueling. Real quick, let's just take a look at some of the differences between the Episode 3 and over here I have the TV show version. And you can see they're very, very similar, but there are some differences. So it's definitely one of those things where you have to kind of look for the differences. And if you don't see them immediately, you may want to ask yourself, does it even matter? But there are some differences between these two particular versions here. Now, the biggest difference, we have the weathering around the grenade section and down over here. So you can see all around, it's just kind of worn away at the edges there. Now that doesn't show up on Episode 3 because it's a brand new lightsaber pretty much, because he lost the other two. So, but even another difference between these two is that the emitters are quite a bit different. So you can see this is the TV show version, very different there. Let me pop this in over there so you can see that. But the emitters are very, very different there. All right, so this is the episode 3 and this is the TV show. So you could already see that the TV show version, the emitter section is darker. And then we obviously had the weathering down over here. For the most part, everything else seems exactly the same. It's the same clamp card, it's the same buttons on the side, the same bottom section over here, the same pommel section over here. But the biggest difference is the weathering and the shape of the two emitters. The episode 3 is a much squarier version here. So at the top here, we have a thicker rim, and this one is a little thinner. And then we have the bottom ring over here, right underneath that top ring. Now, this section on the TV show is a little beveled. There's a little bit of a bevel on the edge, where on episode 3, it's a sharp 90-degree angle. And same thing goes for the little ring right directly under it. There's a tiny little bevel edge over here, and this is a sharp 90-degree corner. But outside of that darker emitter, which I really, really do like, and I do think I prefer the episode 3.5, you know, the TV show version, I think I might prefer the look and the edges and possibly the darker emitter a little bit on the TV show version than the episode 3 version. And hey, while we're at it, let's just do the evolution of Kenobi's saber from episode 1 and 2 right here. Then it would be episode 3, and then the TV show, and then episode 4. These are all 89 sabers. You can get these all over at CC Sabers. Now this version, I kind of weathered and everything myself. So you can't get this actual version of episode 4 from CC Sabers and 89 sabers, but you can buy this hilt and do all of the weathering yourself. And it came out really, really nice. Over here, this was a brass black that I used, which is a chemical. Same thing up over here, aluminum black. Then, you know, just some paint and everything, some orangey rust paint for the grenade section there. Same thing over here around the clamp, more of a rust kind of spattering of paints in there. So, you know, it was definitely a nice little project. I was actually thinking of even going back and adding a little bit more color, because I do feel like it faded a little bit from the original paint that I had put in there. But overall, I think the look of what I did to this one for the weathering came out really, really nice. And what a huge difference between episode 1 and episode 3, and then from 3 on, it pretty much stayed that style. But if you're looking to grab an episode 1, this is also the 89 sabers. All of these, again, you can get them all at CC Sabers in their 89 sabers section. All right, got that stuff packed away. Now let's dig on into this a little bit. You know, so on the bottom here, we can swap out the pommel cap, and I'll show you that in a sec. We do have a removable chassis. Let's put that aside for a minute. So this is the audio vent one. You can just unscrew this right there and put the display cap, and you just screw that right on in right there. The full display version. There we go. Beautiful. So anyway, we have the core right here. Let's power this on. We have our kill switch.
Don't try it.
Right on the back. Wow, just even like that, just the sound turning on, it just sounds so good. So right over here, we have the breathing green light, and this is a Profi 3.9 board. And these do have the pins in it, so you do have to put this in a very specific way. You'll see a missing pin right there. You can see that. And you have to match that up with the little black pin that's in there. So once you know what direction to put it in, it'll be easy every time. This one is the Profi board up towards the clamp card. Now this is a 2-button setup. We have the top power, and we have the bottom. Man, the 89 sabers, I don't know what it is. They sound so good. I mean, it's like night and day between the Xenos and the Profis of the 89 sabers here. So good. So in case you're wondering, the blade that I'm using for this, a blade from Civilized Sabers. This one's actually the TriStar. These are 32 inches long. Just a quick wiggle test. Oh, actually seems to be pretty good. Oh, these things sound so good.
I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
Smooth gray.
So to go forward in font, you're just gonna hit the auxiliary.
Mandalorian and Lord Vader. I'll never join you.
And if you want to go back, you want to flip it upside down, hit the auxiliary again.
Lord Vader. A Mandalorian and a Jedi? They'll never see it coming.
So you have forward and backwards on the fonts. There's also a few different blade styles in here. It's a little tricky, but you can hold the auxiliary and then hold the power for about a 2 count. So hold and 1, 2. All right, so there you go. Auxiliary, power, 1, 2. Some of them are solid colors, some of them are effects. These don't tend to ever have a flicker blade in it for whatever reason. So if you're a profi person, definitely program a nice flicker in there for yourself. So again, hold auxiliary and then hold your power for about 2 count. 1, 2, and that'll change your blade style, but between changing blade styles, make sure to take your fingers completely off. So auxiliary, power, boom, fingers off, auxiliary, power, boom. So you can see it has a few different styles of like fire blades. So you have a few options. Here's a rainbow blade, but if you want a really good flicker blade, you're gonna have to program that in. You can also swap the color on the fly. Same thing that you did with the blade styles, except it's gonna be quick. So auxiliary, push power, and then you can twist. Let's go back to blue. If you go really slow, you can really fine tune the color. Like a nice red. But let's go find a blue. Let's go like right about there. And then just hit your power to set that in. Getting into the volume mode, very simple. Hold your power, click auxiliary. Hold, click.
Volume menu.
And then twist.
Maximum volume. Maximum volume.
Set that in.
Exiting volume menu.
And if you want to go immediately into mute when you turn your saber on so you're not waking up your family at 2 in the morning like I do sometimes, double click your power. All right, so now you just have a lit blade and you can do whatever you want nice and quietly. You can even flip from font to font just by holding the auxiliary and giving a twist.
I need a weapon! You have one!
Beautiful. I don't know, this is like one of my favorite sounding lightsabers. Alright my friends, I think that is about it. This is the episode 3 Obi Wan Kenobi 89 sabers from the folks over at CCSABERS. I'll put a direct link down below and a discount code for you if you want to check this out and everything else that CCSABERS has. Drop on down in the comments, let me know what you think of this 89 sabers episode 3 Obi Wan Kenobi. And while you're down there, do hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so that you're notified every time I drop a new video. A very special thank you goes out to my YouTube channel members for your extra support. You're all so amazing. I will see you all in the next video, my friends. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.